This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated's blog, Zalma on Insurance. Today we explain why liars may never prosper, and you can have no coverage under an automobile liability or policy if you obtain it under a false name. Cheryl Tisdale was injured in an automobile collision when she was driving her own vehicle containing passengers while logged into the Uber Technologies application as a paid driver. Tisdale served Farmers Insurance Exchange with the complaint seeking underinsured motorist coverage pursuant to an insurance policy Farmers issued to Riser LLC, a subsidiary of Uber. In Tisdale v. Farmers, a June 27, 2023 decision of the Court of Appeals of Georgia, Farmers moved for summary judgment, arguing that Tisdale did not qualify as an insured under the Uber policy, or in the alternative that she was barred from seeking coverage because she intentionally concealed or misrepresented material facts and committed fraud by using a false identity in her Uber driver application and while using the Uber app. The trial court granted summary judgment to Farmers and Tisdale appealed. Tisdale was an Uber driver from 2015 to 2017. According to her deposition, at some point, Uber stopped her from driving because they did a background check and something popped up on there they didn't agree with. In 2019, because she did not believe that Uber would hire her under her real name, Tisdale applied for work for Uber using the name Annie Molly. Uber approved Molly's application and Tisdale began driving for Uber as Annie Molly. In April of 2020, Tisdale was involved in an automobile accident with Mr. Graves while driving her own car, which was registered under her legal name, and while logged into the driver version of the Uber app as Annie Molly. Tisdale gave a recorded statement to Farmers as Annie Molly. In May 2020, Tisdale sued Graves for damages arising out of the accident, alleging that he rear-ended her, pushing her vehicle into the path of another vehicle which struck her, and that she incurred in excess of $184,000 in medical expenses. At the time of the accident, Tisdale had not entered into a contract to use the Uber app in her own name or capacity, and Uber had not authorized her to drive as an Uber driver. Instead, Tisdale operated her vehicle while logged into the Uber app using a false identity. Under these circumstances, Tisdale did not qualify as an insured under the policy Farmers had issued to Uber. In analyzing the issues, the Court of Appeal noted that the hallmark of contract construction is to ascertain the intention of the parties as set out in the language of the contract. As a result, when the language of an insurance policy defining the extent of an insurer's liability is unambiguous and capable of but one reasonable construction, the courts must enforce the contract as written and agreed to by the parties. Tisdale served her own carrier, State Farm Fire and Casualty Company, and Farmers with a copy of the complaint and discovery requests. Farmers, in response, alleged that coverage for Tisdale under Uber's policy was void. Farmers moved for summary judgment successfully, claiming Tisdale intentionally concealed or misrepresented material facts and committed fraud by using a false identity in her Uber application and while using the app. She simply did not qualify as an insured under the Uber policy, and she was barred from seeking coverage based on the fraud condition of the policy. The trial court agreed and granted summary judgment to Farmers. Tisdale conceded that she intentionally misrepresented her identity and presented Uber with a false driver's license and a false insurance registration card in order to become an Uber driver. The misrepresentation and fraud provided her coverage under the farmer's policy, which clearly barred the payment of damages to a driver who commits fraud or intentionally misrepresents or conceals a material fact relating to coverage. Therefore, the trial court properly granted summary judgment to farmers. And in my opinion, it takes a great deal of chutzpah, Yiddish for unmitigated gall, to be fired by Uber for cause, rejoining Uber under a false name, and then claim a right to benefits from the Uber policy. Tisdale was punished by her lies and was not allowed to profit from her fraud. Honesty would have saved her, but she insisted on lying, and as a result, she got nothing from farmers. This video was adapted from my blog, Zelma on Insurance, which is available free to anyone who clicks on the URL zelma.com/blog. Please tell your friends and colleagues about this blog and the videos, and let them subscribe to the blog and the videos, which is available free with access to more than 4,550 blog postings, and with new blog postings daily, usually 5 to 6 a week. You can also subscribe and receive videos limited to subscribers of Excellence in Claims Handling at locals.com, or consider subscribing to my publications at substack.com, or go to newsbreak.com or follow me on LinkedIn. Everything's free, and if you wish to get more detail, more emphasis on insurance, insurance law, and insurance claims and insurance fraud, you can consider to subscribe for a very small fee to my Substack publication or my Locals community. Thank you for your attention.